Okay, so this is going to be 38 and 39 in your notebook in a little bit. It's side, 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 and side, angle, side. You don't have to write this part down. We'll write it in our notebook when we get to it. But it's side, 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 and side, angle, side proofs. All right, I'm going to start over here with this one. So as you can see in this picture, there are no diagrams. So the first thing you need to do is mark your picture. FG, did anybody remember what that symbol right there? Good, parallel to KL. So come over to your picture and mark lines parallel. What do you use to mark lines parallel? Arrows. So go to side FG, put an arrow. Go to side KL and put an arrow. So what that should clue you in, if I'm marking things parallel, close it. If I'm marking things parallel, then I'm going to find alternate interior angles, usually that one, corresponding angles, alternate exterior, and those words, okay? All right, so we got parallel lines, and then it says this, FG is congruent to KL. So everybody find FG and find KL. FG. So this is now getting a tick mark. Tick mark, and they are also parallel. All right. So what do you all think about the picture now? If you saw this on Kahoot, would you be able to say side, 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 or side, angle, side? Okay, now you would, but here's some background information you need. Since this line is parallel and this line is parallel, alternate interior angles are when you can form a Z along your parallel lines. So everybody take a highlighter or something. I think this is easier. So you're going to go this way, go that way, and go that way. See the Z that I just formed? So what you did is you found your alternate interior angles. So that means this angle is equal to that angle. This angle is equal to that angle. Okay, now let me back up. If you just had parallel lines like this, and you guys have a picture that looks like that on the opposite page, I believe. So this is what we just did. We followed here, here, and here. So this right here is equal to this right here. I'm ignoring that stuff. Do you see how that's on opposite sides of your transversal now? It's kind of weird to look at with all the lines and all the tick marks, but that's what you just mapped out. All right, so that's where we're at. Now what do you all think about this picture? Side, 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 or side, angle, side? Side, angle, side. What's missing tick marks, but you know that you're allowed to use it? FK, the side they both share, so you can put tick marks on there. Now you should be able to see that this is yellow triangle is a side angle side, and this one is a side angle side. So we have enough information, now we just have to write it. So you have to write why you were allowed to put the tick marks you put. So how do you always start off a proof? Given. So you would write FG is parallel to KL, and FG is congruent to KL. And that is given. So write that down quickly so it doesn't take up a lot of time. So you always write down what you are given for the first thing. Okay, now look at line 2. They already filled in some information for you, or Miss Helmers already did. Angle GFK, so look in your picture. Angle GFK, is that the one that I have a loop in? Is congruent to FKL. Is that the one I have a loop in? Okay, why did you all mark them congruent? We got to put here why. Why were those equal? Anybody remember the word that I just went over here? Not supplementary. Are they on this? Are they on the inside of the parallel lines or outside? Inside. Inside. Are they alternate interior angles are congruent? So step number 2 would be AIA. And then if you want, put the congruent symbol. Alternate interior angles are congruent. And technically that's because the lines are parallel. AIA are congruent because the lines are parallel. Okay, what else did I add tick marks on that were not part of this picture? Line FK, very good. So FK is congruent to FK. So you just have to put the same things equal to itself. It's equal in one triangle and it's equal in the other. What property is that when you look in a mirror and see your? reflection, so this is reflexive property. And then now we said that was enough information. Here's another hint when you do these proofs. Whenever you put one of the reasons, side, 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 or side angle side, the opposite side here must always, I don't say always and must all the time, you must have a triangle congruent to a triangle. When you use one of these reasons, side, 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 side angle side, you must have triangle equal to triangle. Well, guess what? You don't have to get creative, because look at what it told you to prove. Doesn't it say which triangle? And you all know order matters on letters. So don't get creative. Copy it just like that. FGK is congruent to KLF. And that's by side angle side. All right, cool. Any questions? So it's basically taking the things we did in Kahoot, and now you have to explain why. All right, let's go down to this one. What do y'all think? If you saw this picture in Kahoot, enough information? No way. So we got to mark what's given. Now these are going to be different marks, so pay attention. You want to know what to mark in your picture. Okay, good. Side GK bisects an angle. If something bisects an angle, did it cut an angle into two, or did it cut a side into two? Yeah, if it bisects an angle, doesn't it cut an angle into two? Okay, good. So you got to find the angle that got cut into two. So find angle JGM. JGM is that big angle right there. And it got bisected by GK. Do you all see GK going straight through it? Okay, so that means I'm going to put a loop here, and I'm going to put a loop there. A loop here and a loop here. That means those two are equal. Okay, then one other thing to mark in your picture. What does it say next? Side GK is congruent to side GM. So GJ, whoops, I said that wrong. GJ and GM, right there. They get tick marks. Sides equal to sides, get tick marks on the sides. Okay, tell me if you saw this picture in Kahoot. What do you think now? Very good. Side angle side, and they are congruent with that being a match, right? So now we just have to write it down. So number one is our given. Number two says definition of angle bisector. Well, if you have definition of an angle bisector, then you have to have an angle congruent to an angle. Okay, that's your hint there. If it says angle bisector, you got to have two angles equal. So we marked them in our picture, we just have to write them now. Okay, go ahead. J, G, K. Angle J, G, K. You cannot just call it angle G, because angle G has a side here and a side here. And then, Asa, what would be the next one? Angle. If I say angle J, G, K, what would be the other one? Yeah, very good, dear. M, G, K. Good job. And that's because of an angle bisector. Okay, now what else did I add tick marks to that I haven't written about yet? GK, the side they both share. So the third line is going to be just like we did up here. See how we put same thing equal to itself in reflexive property? You're going to do the same thing again. So GK is congruent to GK, and that's reflexive property. All right, and the proof kind of leads you to it. If they have the reason already, I told you this was the must statement. If they have SAS, then you must have what over here? The triangle's congruent, because that's what side angle side says, is triangle's congruence. So you're just going to copy this line onto number 4. So triangle GJK is congruent to triangle GMK. Cool. Anybody got any questions?